In IBT speaking test in a new format, for the third question, you have to read the passage and then you need to listen to something related to that. Now here's a trick that you don't know which can be quite helpful for you. The passage that you're reading usually college subjects, introducing a certain subject to you, such as subject related to art, subject related to engineering. In the listening part, you are going to face usually one of these two circumstances, and these conditions are always the same. First, the professor is going to give an example of their own life, introducing something that has happened to them or that is happening to them.
So let me tell you about my own experience with this when I was working for a computer company a couple of years ago. So one day a coworker and I suggested we should give our
What about the second one? As you have noticed, sometimes the professor illustrates the whole subject that you just read about by giving you two examples. For example, the professor mentions two animals with the same abilities that you read in the reading passage. Now, in order to answer this question, this is what I recommend my students to do. First, summarize the reading part, then simply add words like this when you want to talk about the listening part. By saying simply, for example, the professor gives an example of his or her life depending on the gender of the professor. Or, in order to understand the whole subject better, the professor gives an example of his or her own life. In order to perceive the topic more clearly, the professor gives the students some examples. These kind of sentences can be quite handy and helpful when you want to answer this question.